Ladies and gentlemen, tension is very high at Statehouse. And Kenya Kwanza government is in panic because Raila Odinga today unveiled Jeshi la Baba. In this video, I want us to look at Jeshi la Baba. In case you're watching this channel, please, I want you to move closer to the screen so that you can pay attention. And because I've always insisted on this platform, that in politics, nothing happens out of mere coincidence. Everything in politics is normally well planned, well scripted, and executed to achieve a specific political objective. What do you think is the objective of Jeshi la Baba?
Sasa niko hapa na timu nyingine ya vijana na tunataka nyinyi nyote mtaingia kwa hii jeshi, sawa sawa? Nyinyi nyote mtaingia kwa hii jeshi, sawa sawa? Sawa. Wacha vijana waje hapa mbele. Karibu.
Kibra hoye! Kibra hoye! Baba, leo sisi tuko hapa kuhakikisha kwamba sisi kama jeshi lako tunataka kuhakikisha kwamba hawa vijana wako hapa baba, wanataka utuambie kwamba tunaingia Statehouse siku gani? Baba, hawa vijana sisi baba tunajua kwamba kura uliopata ulimshinda William Ruto, na sisi tunangoja kwamba Kenya mzima ni siku gani utatuambia tutembee kutoka hapa Kibra na tuingie Statehouse tutoe wale watu. Vijana hoye! Jeshi ya baba hoye! Baba, sisi tunakuambia hawa watu wamekudharau sana, na imefika mahali sisi kama vijana wako kuhakikisha kwamba wewe hakuna mtu anakushika, na kama wanafikiria kwamba wewe hauna jeshi, sisi tuko hapa kuhakikisha kwamba tutatembea na wewe nchi mzima kuhakikisha kwamba wameondoka. Baba, hapa mbele yako tuko viongozi, na viongozi hawa vijana, safari yetu leo inaanza leo, na lazima haki ya baba iweze kupatiwanwa. Wametuambia baba, wametuambia kwamba kura iliisha and we must move on. Sisi tunawaambia kwamba we shall not move on until baba gets.
Kama ya kwamba the electoral injustices that we have in our country must end, and they must end today, now or never. Na sisi wote tutajitokeza hapa, twende tuseme tunataka haki yetu, hata kama ni kutoa huyo Ruto kutoka Statehouse hadi kwake Sugoi. Tujitokeze sisi wote, vile wale vijana, vile wale watu wa Venezuela walitoa president wao kwa Statehouse.
The question is, what is the objective of Jeshi la Baba? For us to understand the objective of Jeshi la Baba, we need to go back and understand what Raila Odinga actually intends to achieve by this particular rallies. A few days or a few weeks ago, Raila Odinga assured his supporters that he was going to reclaim his victory. How is Raila Odinga going to reclaim his victory? Is Jeshi la Baba part of that strategy? We are not going to get into that today. Maybe tomorrow, because I'll place a few calls here and there to get some more information. But I want us to focus our attention on Jeshi la Baba. Why do you think Raila Odinga has formed this Jeshi la Baba, in your own opinion? I want to read your thoughts on this. For me, I have several theories, but I want us to look at why this Jeshi la Baba is actually worrying Kenya Kwanza and worrying Statehouse to an extent that they had to beef up security around Nairobi. The first thing why it's worrying them is the question which they are asking. What is the objective of Jeshi la Baba? Because, you can't just form this kind of Jeshi or group without a clear endgame. So Kenya Kwanza government are currently asking themselves the objective of this particular Jeshi la Baba. Is Raila going to create some kind of revolution? And if it's not revolution, what is the objective of this Jeshi la Baba? Because today they were in the military fatigue. And I was reading majority of Kenya Kwanza supporters saying that they should not be in military fatigue. But I reminded them that Alice Wahome, who was a cabinet minister, was in military fatigue. Susan Kihika at some point was in a military fatigue. Very few people in Kenya Kwanza today, especially those who are in Jubilee, were previously in military fatigue. So they can't accuse these people of putting on military fatigue. That is now the situation we find ourselves in if you do something and someone does and you want to accuse the other person. But the question is, what is the end game? What do you think is the end game of this group? Because the way they spoke today, I'm sure some of them will be arrested tomorrow or the day after tomorrow. So that's number one. The other worry is, will they be radicalized? That is the biggest worry in Kenya Kwanza today. Because, we are talking of youths who are unemployed. And these youths were promised jobs by current government. William Ruto in the last election managed to win the support of the youths. Raila Odinga is winning the support of these youths right in his eyes. But the question which Kenya Kwanza is asking is whether these youths will be radicalized. And how will they manage a radicalized group of people? I can assure you, William Ruto and his team are not sleeping right now. In case you're watching this channel up to this stage, please mark your presence. Your presence, just say present. And the third question which they are asking, how can they control these youths, Kenya Kwanza? Because number one, Kenya Kwanza government promised youths jobs. Right now, there are no jobs. William Ruto is very clear that he has a clear strategy on how to employ these youths. When will he employ them? Because if these youths were employed, probably they would not be attending these rallies. That is the thinking within the government. But as we speak, the unemployment situation in this country is actually very bad. You can't just wake up and employ them. Remember, some of these people were being employed in kazi kwa vijana, Ruto is telling them he will employ them in housing and all those other projects. Those who are employed in kazi kwa vijana and the rest were kicked out. So which means unemployment rate in this country is so high. Ruto and the team know so well that they can't stand on a platform to start castigating these youths because they failed to provide them with the job opportunities. So that is something which is worrying them. The fourth question, which is really disturbing them, how can the state stop these youths from Raila Odinga without rebellion? Raila Odinga is winning their support. Today they came out. I'm sure in the next rally, we are going to see more youths putting in that revolutionary cap, putting on the military fatigue, which someone will have to interpret whether it's legal or illegal in the constitution. And the question is, will the government succeed in stopping them? And what is the implication of trying to stop these youths? I can assure you, Kenya Kwanza, as we speak, is in a very big trouble. Because the other option would be to arrest them. But can you arrest all this high number of youths. The other thing is that William Ruto promised Kenyans that for him, he will give people space to vent, people space to exercise their democratic right. It is within their democratic right, the freedom of speech, to talk whatever they want, as long as it's confined within the confines of the law. So William Ruto, I can assure you, is very worried with this group. How can they stop them without creating further revolution? Because these guys are saying they're just waiting for Baba. I know that the ultimate end game is that Raila Odinga will mobilize 1 million march to Statehouse. These youths, by that time, if they are radicalized, they'll be able to take the bullet. So that's a worry. The other question which they are asking is who is sponsoring these youth activities. I want you guys to connect this to the arrest of Gaucho Calvin, the Bunge la Wananchi president. Connect it to the arrest of Makwiny. Something was similar when these guys were arrested. Their phones were taken. So probably they wanted to know who is sponsoring. If they're receiving some Mpesa, if they are in a WhatsApp group, if they are communicating, they wanted to get all those information. What if they didn't get those information from their phones? Because as long as they don't know who is sponsoring these youths, then they are in trouble. I can assure you. Is that person Raila Odinga? Is that person Uhuru Kenyatta the way they are claiming? And how can they stop that person from sponsoring these youths without bringing issues? And lastly, it's about 2027 election. The truth of the matter is that there is also a second thought or school of thought that what Raila Odinga is trying to do right now is all geared towards 2027 momentum. That Raila Odinga is doing this, he wants to sustain it up to the last election, up to the next election. They are trying to follow what William Ruto did. What William Ruto did in 2022, where he began campaigns immediately after the 2017 election. So Raila Odinga is hoping that he will be able to sustain these youths, and these youths will be able to sustain the 2027 election. And by attending these rallies, by doing this, they'll be arrested, there will be unrest, and then there is economy, the state of economy, which is called economic sabotage, in other words. So these guys are really worried. They're peeing on their pants, because the other alternative will be to rain on them, arrest them, take them to court, drag them to court, forceful disappearance. You know, I don't know what you think. Do you think these youths are actually a problem, future problem for Ruto? Let me read the comment section. Thank you guys, and may you have a good day. Bye-bye.